Shawna Hatton, and I'm here in my studio, Chasing Light, and in Chasing Light Art Studio and Gallery in Springboro, Ohio. And I'm with my dear friend and fellow artist, Maureen O'Keefe, and we just wanted to do a little video. Why?
We are having an exhibition of our work together here in Springboro at the Springboro Performing Arts Center. It's coming up in October. So our show is titled Beauties and Beasts, Figurative Work by Shawna Hatton and Maureen O'Keefe. And most of it was completed or worked on as a result of time spent at
Chateau Orquevaux in Orquevaux, France, back in January. So we're super excited because this is the first time of showing this work publicly.
Yes, yeah.
Since we've been able to get our schedules together and have a venue and all the things.
Yes, it's been a year.
Yes.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
So we went to the Chateau in January of 2023, right?
Mm-hmm. What brought you there? Like what?
Well, I had been following the Chateau's Instagram for probably 2 years, and I have applied a couple times.
Did you think they were real?
No.
Yeah, neither of us thought they were real. Like,
we thought it was a scam. It seemed, interesting. Their website was not.
Yeah, because they were just getting going.
They were getting going, but I had applied before, and I don't know if you had applied before, but
no. And we had talked about doing a residency
mm-hmm.
down in Florida Keys or something.
Yeah, I think it was
time.
One of the national parks.
This deserted island that I was like, whoa. No.
That would have been fun. We could still do that. Let's go. Drive toward Tubis. That's what it is. It's on my radar.
Yeah,
but no, so we talked about doing it before. We both got into the Chateau Orquevaux residency at the same time.
Yes.
Which was exciting.
Very exciting.
So we spent how long there?
2 weeks, and then another week in Paris,
Mm-hmm.
doing all the wonderful Parisian artistic things that you do in Paris.
My favorite part was drawing from the sculptures at the Louvre.
Oh, yes.
What about you?
Oh, yeah.
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 And of course our tiny
just,
hotel room.
And just walking through the city. The city is a museum in itself.
The whole thing.
The
just
whole thing.
So much art. And both of us are figure painters.
Mm-hmm.
So Paris is just chock full of examples,
Mm-hmm.
things to look at.
And so I at the beginning of my career, I was doing figurative work, and then I've gotten away from doing that because I like to do landscape and stuff first. I consider myself an expressionistic painter,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was going to Orquevaux, I knew I wanted to revisit figure again in a different way, in a more classical way, and we thought it was really fun because we ended up kind of coming at the same themes with women.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yours deals with men too. You speak to that.
Yeah, my practice includes both men and women, but overall or in general, I've been dealing a lot with ideas of goodness, value, and worth, and what those concepts mean to us just culturally in lots of different ways. So I had just finished up kind of a religious-based series directly called Being Good, and that was a huge endeavor. It was large-scale paintings, and I was just burnt out. I was at a stopping point.
Believe it or not, artists can get burned out.
Yes, and so that's why I needed the residency. I had to get out of my rut somehow,
Mm-hmm.
and going there, it removed me from my everyday life. Obviously, we had a French chef cooking all of our meals, which was amazing.
No cleaning.
No cleaning.
No cleaning, no cooking, no grocery shopping.
We did have to do our laundry.
We did have to do our laundry.
But actually, someone snuck in and folded my laundry for me at one point. I don't know who did it. Someone folded my laundry. It's like, thank you. Okay, I'll just keep painting.
Oh, we had the most delicious food.
Yes.
And
so
we could just go work. Oh, first of all, this was an 18th century chateau.
Yes.
In the countryside, south of Champagne, France.
Well, it was in the Champagne region.
In the Champagne region. It was rough.
It was It was such a small town, so there were like 70 people, wasn't it? 50 that lived in the village. And I like the title of our show because I felt there like we were in a scene from Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
I felt like Belle.
We kept saying Belle or Hogwarts too, because there was a castle on the hill, and just the architecture and
the village was so
and the
rustic.
howling
Whatever was happening.
Whatever that was. Oh my gosh.
It was so magical seeming, though.
It was, except in the middle of the night.
Unless
we were
you're
walking back
afraid.
from the studio, and when we hightailed it back.
Yes.
But that was just,
that was craziness.
That was craziness.
But so I went to try to get out of my rut and was very successful. How about
Yes.
you? Why did you go?
I went just because I thought it was an amazing opportunity to focus on this body of work, and it wasn't until I was there that I realized that the ideas for these pieces started back over 30 years ago when I was in college, and I studied for a year in Italy and was so inspired by the classical architecture and pieces that I saw, especially in the Louvre, the winged Nike of Samothrace. And so, fast forward through life experiences and stuff, I've had this idea for these paintings for over 30 years. And I think that in today's culture, women, we're losing the strength and beauty that are inherently in women. And I see it when I see classical pieces of art. Whether it's a Michelangelo sculpture of a figure breaking out of roughness, some of my paintings depict that, or whether that's the strength of Nike of Samothrace, who's almost goddess-like, and combining her with David, who's a warrior, but a female David. Those are kind of the themes that I'm exploring in my work.
See, I think that's an interesting dichotomy between you and me. So I had just finished a body of work that was very, very tight and concise, and it was a whole conceptual idea, and it was done. And I was looking for the next step. You had the seed of this idea and needed to actually get it out in the world. So you came out with this really beautiful body of bodies, a body of work of bodies that is very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cohesive?
Cohesive, thank you. I knew it started with a C. So you have this nice cohesive body. My work is much more experimental, and it started out that way when I got there. Like, you kind of went in and got right to work with your ladies. I went in and started just like shoving charcoal around on a giant piece of trash. Very quite literally. I had leftover packing material from getting supplies shipped to France, and I tacked it on the wall, and I started just smudging charcoal around on it.
Which, for anybody who is an artist or knows this, that you get into blocks, and that is one of the best ways to get unblocked. So any students that are watching, or anybody who is a beginning painter, or just be encouraged. It's not all, I'm going to create a great masterpiece.
Right. Oh, you certainly don't sit down and create a masterpiece instantly.
No, and your work is so beautiful.
You have to break
you still get blocked.
Yeah, you have to bust up that blank page somehow. So, my whole trip was about finding a sort of way to reconcile the traditional aspects of my personality with the slightly crazy, and wanting to push the envelope and not be traditional.
Because she works in blind contour, which is a whole other...
So blind contour is the process that I work in, and you know it well, but it is a technique that we use as a warm-up, essentially, in basic drawing classes. It's kind of an eye-hand coordination concept. Like, you're just trying to focus on little details of the whole without worrying about the finished product. I also do it in a single line, so my drawings are done without looking at the paper, or in my case the wood panel that I'm working on. I just look at my subject, and I'm drawing over here without looking, and then I don't lift the pencil up off the paper. So what that produces, and you've seen it in my work, and people who come to see the show will see it in the show, the finished paintings have a distortion to them. And for me, that's my way of starting with something flawed and then bringing the beauty back to it.
Yeah, your colors are so rich and beautiful. That's one of my favorite parts.
Thank you. Yeah,
anybody who tried to do the blind contour, I mean, it's usually really abstract. The fact that you nail a representation.
A likeness, yeah.
Is my painting going to be there? She did a painting.
I did. The painting of you sitting like
in the window.
A beautiful muse in the window.
We were on the third floor of this chateau, and my favorite place to be was on the perch of this window, overlooking, and hopefully I'll have some pictures in there. This beautiful scenery. And
at one point there was even a rainbow.
Oh yeah.
Over the lake.
Rainbow.
Double rainbow over the lake,
and
looking out our windows.
So beautiful.
So Shawna was sitting in the winter sun. It's January, but it was beautiful. The sun was coming in the window, and so I took some pictures of her for reference for a painting. So
yeah, so I hadn't even seen it finished. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, so that's finished. That is going to be in the show at Springboro.
That's fun. And we did a lot of this in because we did some figure drawing just at the Chateau. That's some of my best favorite memories.
Yes,
like
certainly.
Artists getting together and drawing each other just to get the poses down and stuff.
Yeah.
We had some great work come out of that.
It was so much fun. I have all kinds of crazy little
my
blind contours of that.
Go figure, it's Friday that we're starting back up again here at the studio. It's based on that whole idea too.
Nice.
We don't need a formal model to be able
No,
to
you just need people who are willing to sit for you. So yeah, that was another reason why I was so excited for the Chateau in particular, because there were lots of other artists. Like there are other residencies, like the one in Dry Tortugas, where it would just be you and another artist. But Chateau has a lot of people, and I was there not only to make my own art, but to connect with other artists, and that was.
Oh yeah, I firmly believe creatives need creatives.
Yeah.
And to
like we had writers there, poets, novel writers, screenwriters.
And we could help each other think outside the box, or it's like, oh, I hadn't thought of that, I hadn't considered that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was some of my best thinking about my own work came from talking to William. So William was a sculptor and an art historian that was there, and we sat and were talking about the elements of traditional painting that are contained within my work, and it really helped solidify some of my ideas about my own work.
So would you go again?
100%.
Yeah.
Let's apply again. See if they'll take us back together.
I know, we did laugh our way through France.
Yes, we did.
That was
for
the
sure.
best thing.
Yeah. We had a blast.
We did.
Well, thank you all for sitting and listening to our weird fireside chat and enjoying our show here at the Springboro Performing Arts Center. You can catch me again later this month at the Fitton Center with my Being Good show.
I can't wait for that.
It's going to be amazing. I'm very excited. And then also, if you'd like information about me or to kind of follow along with my art journey, we'll put the links below.
And my link is below. Again, this is my studio. I teach classes here if you want more information on that. I have a show coming up in a couple months, but then I think that's it. We can just say au revoir.
Bye.